Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SPRO Gaming channel. My name is Bacano and today we are having a look at my highlights from the 6th race of the 6th season of the SPRO League Championship. Regarding the race itself, overall expectations were barely none because I had a very busy week and only managed to put 50 laps of practice. And this is including the 10 laps before the qualifying. Fortunately, still managed to qualify in 8th position. However, I was not sure if I had the pace or the consistency to hold on to it. So in my mind I was just like, hey, fuck it, let's just have some fun and stay out of trouble. So, lap number 1, it's basically all about keeping your composure and not lose positions by premature moves or attempts to overtake other drivers. You always have to keep in mind that this is a 1-hour race, and in a track like this, choking at the start will most likely ruin a possible good race. And as I just finished saying this, Bradley that starter in P2 chokes in the first right-hander after the U-turn, and this probably affected his mindset for the rest of the race, as he lost many positions from that crash. Once again, the aim is to keep the composure in the first couple of laps and hopefully be able to take advantage of other drivers' mistakes. As an example, we can see Denzel taking advantage of this situation after Amrex not being able to leave a safe gap between me and him. And these are the small mistakes that should and can be avoided when you're literally at the start of the race and in the middle of the pack. As we approached the death chicane on lap number 2, I knew that someone would likely crash there, so I decided to let go of the gas earlier and managed to avoid getting caught in the mayhem. Some luck involved as I gained 3 positions from it and had the chance of having a good race from there as long as I can stay focused and consistent. At this point I could try to attack Denzel's position, but in my mind I was like, let it go, we got time. And as we can see here, an unfortunate crash from Denzel allowed me to easily go up to P4 without losing any time whatsoever. Seemed that luck was on my side today. Entering lap number 3 with MRX right on my tail as we approach the U-turn, or as Johnny would call it, Devil's Armpit, we can see MRX completely missing his braking point, or maybe attempting a suicidal dive bomb, we don't know, but fortunately that maneuver didn't cause any issue and I managed to keep my position. Top 3 positions at this point, we had Sam Digby leading the race, followed by Young Bright Hawk in P2 and Get Scoped in P3. Going for lap number 5, Sam Digby chokes in the chicane of death, allowing Young Bright Hawk to easily regain back his P1 from qualifying, and as we can see, I felt the urge of being a supportive crew leader and decided to perform this little stunt, losing P4 to the Dash-Hound Motorsports driver Chaos Thanatos, dangerously followed by Azrael in P6, Denzel in P7 and MRX in P8. Entering lap number 6, right behind Chaos Thanatos, I turned into a very religious person because I was praying to the Almighty for a mistake from Azrael. In my mind I knew it was just a matter of time until he successfully overtakes me, not only because he's faster but also because I had no pace here. My tactic was to hold him off as much as I can and hope for a possible mistake from him. Fast forward to lap 10, nothing has changed in the top 5 as I managed to defend my position against the constant attacks from Azrael, but luckily for me, Azrael chokes in the chicane of death and I finally get rid of his pressure. My consistency and defending turned out profitable on the long term against a very fast but impatient Banana Squadron driver. On lap 11 we start seeing the first back markers as the field gets spread throughout this short circuit and the skill gap between certain drivers is quite noticeable. This is not surprising at such an early stage of this race. But this championship is not about egos, it's not about who's the best around, because that one we already know who it is. The SPRO League is for people who want to enjoy a friendly, healthy and drama-free competitive championship, no matter what skill level they have. As long as you understand basic racing rules and you have an acceptable racecraft knowledge, you're more than qualified and welcomed to join us. And of course, the mandatory rule here is to have fun. On lap 13, Chaos Thanatos in P4 chokes in this unforgivable right-hander and I managed to take his position easily. Now I had nothing in front of me besides a constantly increasing gap between me and P3. Young Bright Hawk in P1 with an astonishing performance and gets scoped in P2 with his usual super fast pace were completely out of the question. So, unless Sam Digby in P3 crashes numerous times till the end of the race, there is no chance I can go higher than P4. Considering the field behind me and this early advantage, I started thinking that this could bring me something between 4th and 6th as a final race position, if I could manage to stay out of trouble, that is. I went from 8th at the start to 4th, without actually having to battle anyone for their position. Lap 15, first pit window is open, time to do some quick math here. Bradleyan was having a terrible race in P10 and Chaos Thanatos in P5 was miles away. I had no idea at this point where Ezreal was, so I started thinking that if I manage my pit stops correctly, I might be able to hold my 4th position till at least half of the race, so I gotta be smart about this. Lap 16, second back marker, no time lost. Lap 17, third back marker, not exactly a peaceful overtake, almost crapped my pants there. Lap 18, I see two green street night performance drivers together, so I assumed either get scoped in P2 already pitted or crashed hard. Still, my thoughts were on what was behind me and in a way to secure my position with a good pit strategy. Going into lap 19, Get Scoped takes the lead after Young Brighthawk does his first pit stop. As you can see on the left side, the top 3 positions are separated by just a couple of seconds. While I could use some slipstream. Blue flag rule applied again to Italo from this Zero Gas Motorsports team. I want to mention Italo's huge sportsmanship and race awareness. He's definitely not the fastest driver around, but it doesn't let his ego stop him to have fun and enjoy a good, clean race.
Well done, big PP.
Lap 20, still a good battle in the front, and I noticed that HammerX is now in P5. The question was, did Ezreal and Chaos pit already? Sam Digby pits on lap 20, as we now enter lap 21, still with clear road ahead. So far so good, as Sam might lose a few seconds behind slower drivers when he exits the pits. This will help me out for sure, so I decided to hold my pit stop a few more laps. Almost at the end of lap 24th, started to see some traffic ahead, so I decided to not let my pit stop for the last lap. This way I will avoid the traffic and exclude the possibility of pitting right behind some of them. I temporarily lose my position to Chaos, who hasn't pitted yet, but managed to get out in front of Sam Digby. The strategy worked, but only for a few seconds. Still in lap 25, Get Scoped and Chaos will have to do their pit stops now. Young Brighthawk will go back to P1, and I choke like that and will give back P3 to Sam Digby after both of us overtake Chaos in the pits. On lap 27 I was so focused in trying to keep up with P3 that I failed to see Italo on the outside, so I couldn't anticipate in time a safe overtake, ending up pushing him out of the track. I waited enough time for him to get back on the track and recover some time, but because he was a back marker, allowing him to overtake me just for him to give back the position again wouldn't make sense and would just be wasting more time for both of us. Lap 29, I noticed Kicked stuck in 3rd gear. Probably fucked up his transmission when double clutching. This was a very demanding race for the Turismos, as Lutz Gamer can testify when his engine got set on fire. Nothing too spectacular in the next few laps. And as you can see, that treacherous right-hander takes another victim. This time it's my teammate Lou from the Hogwarts Racing School of Witchcraft and Wizardry team. Moving on to the end of lap 35, Camp Schnitzel, reserved for Twilight racers, goes too wide on the last corner and caused a huge accident. But something else happens. Did you see it? Did you see it? Let's see it again, shall we? P1 just lapped P4.
What is that actually happened? Of course it happened. I think this is a reflection of...
A few meters ahead, Two-Phase respected the blue flag rule and allowed me to overtake as soon as possible. Another sign of the excellent sportsmanship of these drivers. Entering lap 39, basically 2/3 of the race completed, here we can see the top 3 positions very well defined, with an extraordinary lead by Young Brighthawk, followed by Get Scoped 30 seconds behind, and P3 Sam Digby 18 seconds ahead of me. Fighting for my position, you can see Chaos Thanatos 2 seconds behind in P5, and then an intense battle for P6 between Israel, MRX and Denzel, separated by 1 second each. Right behind him, P9 comes Bratlian with a not so good race today. Then Dino, HZ Gamer, Loot Gamer, Two-Phase and Lou still fighting for P13. Then Katen in P15, Camp Schnitzel, T-Guard, and finally Talon. A few laps ahead as we exit the chicane of death on lap 41, Chaos Thanatos loses his focus and chokes, allowing me to finally increase our gap to 8 seconds and stay more comfortable in P4. As we enter lap 43, Young Brad Hawk laps Sam Digby in P3. Now in lap 44 we can see another Anus performance driver with electric issues in his Turismo, and Loot Gamer in front of me with a burned engine had no other option but to allow me to overtake. Lap 45, second pit window is open until lap 55. Once again I got a clear road ahead, so I'm gonna go for the same strategy from the first pit window and try to increase the gap a bit more from P5. On lap 48 I felt my car suspension acting a bit weird, making me lose grip more than usual, so I decided to pit now and fix the car before something worse could happen. MRX in P5 decides to pit right behind me, and we both temporarily lose our positions to MRX's teammate Chaos Thanatos and Denzel from the Twilight Racers team. Even though this was an early pit stop from what I had in mind, it allowed me to go for the final 14 laps with a fixed car. Sam Digby in P3 was already gone, and Israel in P8 was not going to present any danger at this point. So I knew that I could definitely finish 4th or 5th, depending on how well I could keep the distance from MRX. Now on lap 54, an unrecognizable Bradleyan in P11 succumbs once again in that hard right-hander, as I luckily managed to pass without issues. And as expected, I get my P4 back with Chaos in the pits, going for lap 56 with a very comfortable gap from MRX in P5. And from here till the end, nothing interesting happened. I was surprisingly consistent in this race, just like the old days, and managed to finish the race in a very proud 4th position for the standards of this championship. If you managed to watch this video till this point, please let me know in the comments that you watched it, and let me know if you would like to see more extended highlights like this by simply pressing that like button. It really helps my content to be YouTube algorithm friendly. Hope you guys had a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.